Hey everybody, welcome to the channel where we talk everything Chicago Bears, Cubs. We also got some Blackhawks and maybe some Bulls in there too. Listen, if you like what you see here today, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments down below. Make sure we can all beat that YouTube algorithm and grow together. And I will catch you guys in the next one.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I like I said, I
Hopefully they
hope,
get the right coach.
I
And
hope to
hopefully
God,
it's Ben Johnson.
I hope to God, man, look, I've been, the more I talk to Dad about this, and the more that I watch like ESPN and I watch Locked On Bears, CHGO Bears, the Windy City Breeze. The more I watch them, dude, like I've been talking myself into Pete Carroll so much, it's not even funny.
No, that's what you and Dad are talking about. You guys are gross.
But like, no, just hear me out though,
If
because
you're gonna bring in someone with experience, at least bring someone like a little younger, like Vrabel. He's one of the guys on my list. Vrabel's younger, and the Titans did him wrong, and he got fired because he didn't like the decisions they were making, and they didn't like that he had say.
Well,
Pushback.
yeah, I mean that's fair, but like you need somebody who can set a culture and do it like now. And you need someone who has been there, done that. And Pete Carroll's been to three Super Bowls with Seattle. He's won one. Uh, he never had a losing season in Seattle except for his last year, I think. So, like when you look at Pete Carroll and you look at what he did with Seattle, like you knew what their culture was. Like they were all vultures to the football. It didn't matter if it was defense or offense. Whoever had the ball, there was people moving to block. There was people trying to push the pile along. Like there was a clear culture in Seattle. And I mean, let's be honest, Pete Carroll's a fucking maniac because of the things that he does on the sidelines. But I want a coach that does things like that on the sidelines. Because I mean, you go and score a touchdown. You just saw Eberflus just like,
Yep,
eh,
and you'll
eh,
get that out of Ben Johnson too.
but it's like,
He's He's been dominating the league for 3 straight years, innovating every year with the Lions, with Jared Goff, of all quarterbacks,
I,
making him
yeah, no, Jared
back
Goff,
to
that's crazy.
a tremendous talent. And he still continues to dominate, still continues to innovate, still continues to be better. And I want to have a dominating offense. We've never had one in Chicago, and I want an offensive minded coach. The biggest reason you bring in someone as a DC with a defensive minded coach, and he has a successful team, right? Which you hope is going to happen. Then you're bringing in a new OC every 2 years because your OC is going to get a head coaching job. And then Caleb has a different OC every 2 years again. I want a head coach that is going to be there with Caleb for the next 10 years with him and be his play callers. Things don't always have to change. Defenses, there's plenty of good defensive minds.
Well, I mean, also, I mean, I think it's fair to state that never in our lifetimes have we had like a truly terrible defense. Like I've always
No,
witnessed.
but we've never had a good offense ever. We've never had a 4,000 yard passer, and that's like the new norm.
I mean, yeah, I mean while that is pretty much the new league norm, anywhere between 3,800 and 4,200 yards, it's like.
And you got to score points in today's league.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I would argue the only like
But
really good, the only good, true good Bears offense that I ever saw was '06, and even they weren't, in the top five of the league. They got to the Super Bowl because of their defense. Like that was when the Bears were
yeah,
known as the monsters of the Midway because Urlacher, Briggs, and Brown and Tillman they would fuck you up. I mean, if you better hope to God that when you catch the ball, they're not within 5 yards of you or you were getting killed.
yeah, it's the exact reason why I want to have a dominant offense for once. It's league where 80% of teams have a good offense. I want to finally be one of them.
Well, I
But
mean,
the only
and that's
downside to Ben Johnson is he's again would be a first time head coach. That's your only question mark is how would he respond to that? And that's where I would like an experienced coach, but
see, and the
fuck
other
it. He's gotta develop.
the other problem that I have with that is would not how he would take off as a rookie head coach, but how would he deal with the Bears structure as a rookie head coach? Because I mean, you look at
Well, he's
Matt
only
Nagy
gonna
and
take it if he likes it. He's only gonna take it if it's perfect for him. So that wouldn't be an
well,
issue if he took the job.
Yeah, well, I only say that because you got to look at what happened with Eberflus and Nagy, right? Like since and I was talking to Dad
But
about this.
Nagy
Like,
was a terrible hire in general. He never even called plays in Kansas City ever. I don't know why they even hired him. I can't believe he's being regarded again.
I don't know. Yeah, who's looking at him? Is it Las
I
Vegas?
think that no, I think the Jets asked for an interview. I don't think it was serious, but
But it's like you got like I think the problem again with Ben Johnson, like it's not so much him being able to be a head coach and be a good head coach. It's just being a head coach for the Bears because of the way that they run the organization.
but
Like,
that you could say that with any head coach for the Bears. They've tried to bring in a guru like Nagy. They've tried to bring in an experienced guy before. They've tried to bring in they try and they always fail.
well, I mean, I don't know if that's just because the guy that they're bringing in as a coach just isn't that good, or is it because of the
It's
team?
because they're terrible owners of an
Well,
organization.
that's what I'm saying. Is it the organization having their coaches'
Ben
hands tied
Johnson is the
behind their
right
back?
guy for this kind of roster, I believe. But that's just my opinion, and that's all it's an opinion.
Like, why would if it wasn't Ben Johnson, why a guy like Vrabel? What's your opinion on him?
Well, that's a guy that has experience, and you even heard, I think it was Demarcus Walker in his end of season press conference saying he heard the rumor of Vrabel being a candidate. He said a lot of bull crap would end around here. So Vrabel, those kind of coaches that have that experience, him or Carroll, you're guaranteed they're going to set a good culture. You've seen in their past they set a good culture in their locker room. They know how to put a decent product on the field. But they're both out of jobs right now because they couldn't innovate to the new NFL. How can they re-innovate themselves again? And it worked for some of the guys. It worked for Dan Quinn when he went back to Dallas as a DC after the Falcons didn't work, and now he found himself the perfect situation with Jane Daniels. And look at him in his first year going to the playoffs. So it can work for those guys, but I'd more like to see a guy like Ben Johnson that's for multiple years in a row been at the top of the league in offensive numbers. Take the chance on him. Do it. Give him all the money he wants.
What about
Throw the book at him.
why do you say no to a guy like Pete Carroll?
Well, I mean, that's like my same reason saying no to Vrabel. It's just because they've already done it and they ran their course. But there's not saying they can't re-innovate. And again, it would be nice that their culture is already for sure they're going to set the right culture. But I don't know. I'd just rather have an innovative young mind in today's NFL because that's what it is.
And then I was gonna say, what would you rather have? Somebody who sets the right culture right away, or somebody who knows how to take advantage of every player right away? Because I think that that would be the biggest difference between a guy like Ben Johnson and a guy like Pete Carroll.
Culture. I mean, you definitely want to set the culture right away.
So then
Dad, you
what?
want to give your 2 cents on your coaching hire? We're about to wrap up here. All right, get in here. Oh
Oh, dude, you're gonna have to give him a. Can he hear me through your
no,
phone or?
I'm gonna take my headphones out. Can you hear?
Yeah, I can still hear. I can hear the fridge in the background a little bit, but I can still hear you.
That's all right. You got to pull up a chair though, Dad.
All right, pull her up. Let's go. Let's have a combo.
We already gave our 2 cents, and mine was Ben Johnson.
Okay. Well, I should probably put a Bears hat on, right? Hold on. All right, we good?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
Where'd Dakota go?
So, bathroom upstairs, but here's what I'm thinking about the Bears coaching thing. Okay. I do like the Ben Johnson. He's the next up and comer, which is awesome. But what I think the Bears need to do is go to a proven coach. And why I say this, and I've told you that before, AJ, is they're not ready for another up and coming coach or another up and coming, coordinator. We got to establish a culture. And the Bears say it all day long, and we have zero culture. So when you have a Pete Carroll, or you have a, Vrabel, or you have, one of those guys, again, you're not doing this for the long haul to hire these guys. You want them for the next probably year and a half to maybe 3 years to get things going right for the Bears. And again, Ben Johnson may come in and win 2 Super Bowls. Who the hell knows? I mean, you never know, right? Because it's a newer coach. But I'm telling you, you got to have someone that comes in and starts the culture, quote unquote, that the Bears say they have, which they don't have right now, and get that going. And I think that's a Pete Carroll, or a Ron Rivera, or or somebody else. But it's not a first time head coach. The Bears do not need an up and comer right now. They need to really just have someone that sets the tone for the next 20 years. And that's not a Ben Johnson, in my opinion.
That's a Ben Johnson, in my opinion, every fucking day,
No,
twice
it's
on
not.
every goddamn
No,
Sunday,
no,
baby.
it's
Well,
not. It's
well,
not.
like we'd been talking about this probably throughout the last like week or two. The thing the thing that turns me away from a Ben Johnson is just like you said, he's he's a first timer. He's not proven. You don't really know what he is or what he's got, and you don't know what kind of culture he could build. You would imagine that it's probably a culture similar to what he has in Detroit under Dan Campbell, but at the same time, you don't know what kind of culture he would build. Whereas with a Pete Carroll, you know exactly what kind of culture that he would bring to the Bears. He was always up and down the sidelines, jumping, screaming, hollering. He was he's
Well,
it,
whoa, 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 whoa. It's not to even jump and hollering. It's just more of here's the structure. The Bears have no structure. And I don't think you can actually gamble, and not to interrupt you, AJ, to gamble on a Ben Johnson when you need to have a lot of structure put in place. Because this is not a 1 or 2 year thing with the Bears. It's not even close. This is a 3 to 4 year thing, because you got to get these guys on the right track. And I think of Ben Johnson, yeah, he's the, and again, don't get me wrong, he's the hot coach. He does great. So we talked about this the other night. He does great in Detroit. But does he want the responsibility of having to have the whole enchilada right behind him? No, because he has a very good head coach, which obviously he does, you know. So he don't have to worry about all the other stuff that comes with the head coaching position. And
and kind of like what we had already talked about too is again, why wouldn't Detroit give Ben Johnson enough money to make him the highest paid OC um in the entire NFL and just not have him leave Detroit at all, where that could be a possibility too. So you might be taking him off of the table altogether. Whereas, like I said, with Pete Carroll, here's my other question: is that we've already seen the Bears get uncomfortable with themselves and fire a head coach midseason because they've never done that before. Do you
yep,
think do you
fair.
think do you think that it's time that the Bears get themselves a head coach that makes them uncomfortable? Like in terms of
Yes,
no,
100%.
this is the way I'm going to run my offense. This is the way I'm going to run my
Yes,
defense. This is the way I'm going to talk to the media. I'm not going to sugarcoat shit. This is how an organization should be run from head coach down.
yes, yes. So you're talking about a Mike Ditka, quote unquote,
Yeah,
Or a
yes.
Carroll or a Vrabel.
Yes, or a Carroll or
You
Babel.
need you need
Dakota's right, absolutely.
But I still want Ben Johnson.
Okay, can we talk? Okay. What Ben Johnson is proven as a head.
This you weren't down here when I was talking about it. That's my only con. I gonna
But
be as
but
a head coach.
but you're walking into a shit situation with a team that fucking sucks.
Right.
Oh wait,
But,
can I swear or no?
Yeah.
You can swear.
Okay.
But
that's why you got to come in with the okay. Even if let's just say, let's just say we get a Pete Carroll. Yeah, give me him for 2-3 years just to set the standard of how NFL football should be played. Okay, or maybe, and again, maybe maybe it's Brown. Maybe Brown stays on. And then, because he was doing pretty good before he had to be the quote unquote head coach, and then you hire someone like that. But someone that comes into this organization that sets.
Oh, I had my AirPod in my hand, so it was thinking it was in my ear.
Okay, so can you hear us?
Now I can hear you, but whatever you just said in the last 2 minutes, I couldn't hear a word of it.
Okay, so all I'm saying is this. I mean, you look at the hot guy, right? Which is Ben Johnson, and I'm not saying that's a wrong fucking idea because the guy is really good, but does Johnson really want the responsibility of having to be the whole enchilada, the whole guy? Because when you look at the Detroit Lions, you've got Campbell that takes off a lot of pressure between the OC and the DC. And they do really well. And trust me, they do really well. But I just don't I really think right now the Bears do not need a first-time head coach, whether it be him or not. Seriously. They got to have a guy that comes in like a Carroll, like a Vrabel, like a Ron Rivera that's been there, done that. Get a actual culture set, and then move on to a next coach. That's why that's why AJ. I think the Bears need someone that's been there, done that.
So I'll just ask you this one more time, just in case this was when the audio kind of went out and I didn't catch everything you said. So do you think that it is worth the Bears getting a head coach that makes ownership uncomfortable?
100%, dude. Oh, 100%. Well, just like Mike Ditka did. Now I'm hoping the ownership, is fine with that. But absolutely, because if dude, you know me. I've been in my job for 20 years. If you don't make things uncomfortable, then that's a problem. Because once you become where I don't want to like quote unquote rock the boat, yeah, then you will not be good. Whether it be in business or a team, you won't be good.
So then, so with the Bears obviously doing what we've never seen before and firing a head coach and an offensive coordinator for the first time, what do you think the actual odds are that they actually do it the right way and get this type of head coach like a Pete Carroll, Vrabel, Rivera, whichever one it ends up being? Like, what do you think the odds are that they actually wind up, getting a coach like that that can help set the culture, set,
Are you there or no?
I got you. Can you not?
Oh, are
You
you
got
there now?
Yeah, you got me. I could hear you the whole time. You good? Dakota, your thing went.
No, I can hear you.
Yeah, but your audio is cutting in and out.
Hey,
I don't have it.
do you have AT&T Nashville?
Yeah, but it's Xfinity at this house.
That's the problem. What are you gonna do?
It ain't Spectrum.
It ain't Spectrum, baby. But no, but still, to answer your question, AJ, I don't believe the Bears can do the right thing.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I just don't, dude, because we've seen it so many times. But here's the thing. I mean, if you can get somebody like a Carroll, Vrabel's we know him. That's fine. But
yeah, he's going to New England.
The reason why I want Pete Carroll, and I told you this, AJ, is because he will set a standard. And again, we're not going to be good for a couple of years, but he will set that standard. And that's why I want him so bad. And I don't know why the Bears are not fucking just saying, you know what, this is our guy. You cannot have a Ben Johnson come into this team, in this organization, and win. Not going to happen. Not going to happen.
For the record, so just going on YouTube, I do think he can. And when we hire him, because that's who we're going to hire,
no,
he's going to win us the Super Bowl.
No,
and
no.
Dad, I'm going to be able to tell Dad, I told you so.
Great. And you know what? And AJ and Dakota, I would love for you to rub it in my face.
I hope I might too.
I would love you to. But no.
I won't be, but I hope so.
You just got to have a guy come in and set a standard. We have no standards right now.
Ben Johnson.
We have none. And I think that's where the Pete Carroll comes in and sets that standard. And guess what? And guess what, AJ? You might have your next head coach in our OC, but we don't know because we forced them into. Well, here we go. You went from passing coordinator to OC to head coach.
Well,
We
right.
might.
I mean, yeah, you did him
Well,
so
hello, buddy boy. Hello.
you did him so wrong. It wasn't even funny because again,
Yes.
passing coordinator, offensive coordinator, and we talked about this yesterday too. We talked about this yesterday too, where he did
He's
he
going.
did he did fairly well in the first couple of weeks as just the offensive coordinator. Like you saw a
Yes.
major uptick in the offense. So
Yes.
like you need to be able to give him that time to
Yes.
establish himself and establish how his system works.
Yep, AJ, I cannot agree more with you because when he was just I guess just the OC, you can see where he's on there. He's on the bench talking to Caleb. He's doing all this. It was so unfair to put him into a position where it's like, well, now you got the whole deal. Come on, you know. And I really think whoever's the head coach, I really hope they look at Ben or our guy, not Ben Johnson, but
Thomas
our guy
Brown.
to say, yeah, to say, you know what, maybe he's pretty good here with Caleb. You know,
Well, yeah, like I said, I mean, you saw when we got rid of the offensive coordinator, I for the life of me cannot think of his damn name.
shut the fuck up.
But like when you look at Thomas Brown, when you saw Thomas Brown come in and start talking with Caleb, like you immediately saw an uptick in the offensive production. Like he was able to put points on the board in the first half when the Bears didn't do that for like the 3 games right before that. So like you saw him be able to make that connection, but then you took that connection away by making him the interim head coach, like you were saying.
I agree. I really think that, again, the Bears fans can't be delusional that you're going to bring like a Ben Johnson in. Oh my God, we're going to do what Jim Harbaugh does. No, not even fucking close. Not even close, even though he lost today. But you're not going to bring a fucking Harbaugh in and fucking, oh, we're going to turn this shit around in a fucking heartbeat. No, you're not. No, you're fucking not.
Yeah.
The Bears fans got to realize.
I don't think it would be in a year. But I think he's the right coach.
You need somebody that's going to come in and start moving this fucking ship. And this ship, it's a tanker. It takes a while to move it across the fucking ocean, man.
Yeah, it's been moving for 23 years of my life.
No, but I'm telling you, when it comes to real coaches, it takes some time to move it across the ocean. And that's what we need. We do need a real coach, i.e., a Pete Carroll. Again, the guy's gonna fucking be here for 2-3 years, but that's all you need to set the fucking tone. And that's all you need is have a guy come in here and set the tone where the Bears want to go. And AJ, you and I talked about this last night. Just get that ship in the right direction. It's gonna take a long time. Don't get us wrong, but just get it going in the right direction. And I think that's a Pete Carroll, a Ron Rivera. And I don't get me wrong, I would love to see McCarthy, but he's no, but no, it's the same. No, yes, absolutely, yes.
But you still want a guy that you think you can go win a Super Bowl with, regardless. And McCarthy is not that.
And okay, look at his record as a coach.
Look at his record in the playoffs. He had one good run in the playoffs.
Well, how about this? Let's make the fucking playoffs.
That's fine, but I want to
just give me the playoffs for one game.
That's fine. I mean, I'm saying if you're going to hire a guy for Caleb, I want him paired in the next 10 years. I don't see him being with Caleb the next 10 years.
That's why I love your brother, because he knows football.
I do.
No, and that's why I love your brother, because he knows football. He absolutely does. But I just want the Bears to start swinging in the right fucking direction.
Well, yeah, I mean, me and Dakota mentioned it earlier. Like this isn't just like even a Bears problem. This is a Chicago sports problem. Like every team in Chicago's got this problem.
I don't know about that though. But okay, well,
for the most part, yeah. Other than the Hawks dynasty.
Well,
other than that, the Cubs were poverty.
I'm talking in the last 5 years.
Fair enough.
I'm talking in like the last 5 years. Cubs haven't done anything since they made the postseason in 2020.
But we can go as far back as our lives. The Cubs sucked. The Bears, our whole lives, they were good for 1 year in 06 or whatever that was, 05, whatever the fuck year that was. We suck.
We went to the NFC Championship game in 2010. What are you talking about?
We still suck. Okay, that's right. We did against the Packers. I forgot. My bad. You're right. But we still suck. Okay, and we haven't been to a Super Bowl. We've never been to a Super Bowl in my life. Might still not happen. Cubs won one World Series in 108 years. Blackhawks were really good, but now they've been bad for almost a decade going on. 8.5 years. And Connor Bedard's looking worse than ever. And yeah, so we suck. Bulls suck. They've always sucked.
Connor
life.
Bedard's
Dad had a good Bull. The Bulls were good in his lifetime. That was cool.
Connor Bedard's on pace to beat his point total from last year just because he hasn't been injured.
Yeah, just because he's going to be healthy. You know, he just went like 3 weeks without scoring a goal.
Yeah, but you do know that he had a point streak in that 3 weeks because he was getting assists.
There was in a week of that he had not a single point.
But I'm telling you, do not fucking discount my fucking 6 feet for the fucking Bulls.
I just said that they were good in your lifetime. You're fucking 50. I'm 23.
Oh.
Yeah, you say you're getting old every day, so I'm gonna pull that card.
I love that because
I'm getting old.
Because I'm older than 50.
Dude,
thank you.
He comes into my room the other day limping. He goes, I think I pulled my hammy for putting log in the fire. Like he was hurting. He's like, I'm old.
Dude, what are you gonna do? I
am. Dad, I'll
Bears
ask.
suck. Hopefully they won't. We'll see.
Yeah, we do not want Ben Johnson.
We want Ben Johnson.
No, we do not. No, we don't.
This is why I've been wanting to do this live stream with you guys for
long
because I knew you guys were gonna get in. I knew you guys were gonna get into it. I knew it.
No, we don't. We want an established coach to get this ship righted. Then you want a Ben Johnson, and that's 2-3 years away yet from a Ben. Because guess what? Guess what, boys? Every year there's a Ben Johnson. Every year. Every year there is.
Yeah, but
am I wrong?
Okay.
Definitely not wrong.
Is there a guy like Ben Johnson?
Wait. What'd you say, Jay?
No. You listen to me.
I agree with that. There's always a hot new commodity every year.
Now it's my turn.
Exactly.
There's a different hot commodity every year, but there's not a hot commodity that's been a top 3 scoring offense for 3 straight years. It's always the guy that just burst onto the scene.
Okay,
Ben Johnson has been. He was wanted last year, and he said no. I'm staying here.
Right.
He's wanting again this year. That's my only swing and I'm fucking miss home run if you take one. Johnson.
So why do you think Ben Johnson last year said, nope, I'm staying here?
Because he knew he had a perfect situation.
Right. So
every guy still
wants
to become a head coach, and since he took the interview this year, it means he wants to become one now.
I'm telling you, the Bears don't need
in Ben Johnson's own words, he said word for word that he was staying in Detroit because he had unfinished business. He wants to go win a Super Bowl with Dan Campbell.
Yeah,
really
and
bad.
he's gonna this year, and then he's gonna come to Chicago and coach against Dan Campbell twice a fucking year, and we're gonna beat him twice a year, and then we'll maybe beat the Packers once a year, and then we'll go to the playoffs.
No, I do not want Ben Johnson at all.
Hey, your YouTube people. When you look at this video, 5 minutes ago, he said, this guy knows ball, all right? I know ball.
Well, so do I.
And there's my one swing. If you're going for the fences, you fucking take Ben Johnson and you run that shit and give him all the money you want.
So you UT people, don't be fucking dumb motherfuckers.
Give him
just
all
so
the
you know.
money he wants.
No, you don't fucking give him a blank check. He's never fucking done the whole deal.
That's fine.
Why is he really good? Because he concentrates on one thing.
Because he's a guru, and the guy he's underneath has showed him how to build the right culture. Every guy that's a guru, he becomes a guru and becomes a head coaching candidate. That's the difference about Ben Johnson. Everyone, when they are that hot guy, they're that guy for the year, but they aren't around a culture like him. Ben Johnson knows what it takes culture-wise.
Dakota does have a pretty fair point though, because he's been.
I'm not worried about him setting a culture. I'm really not. You see him on the sidelines of a game, he's damn near more fired up than Dan Campbell. He's running up and down the sidelines.
But he's got one job to do. He's got one job.
I get that. But every coach that goes to the NFL, they want to be a head coach. He's ready. So
as a Bears,
he's more qualified than any first-time head coach in the last 5 years.
And I'm not in Dakota. There, you are 120% right. But as a Bears fan, as a Bears fan, and as a I would say a smart Bears fan, We got to build something, and that's not with a guy that's never done it.
But why? But no, that's where I think you're backwards. Because why would you want to build something with a guy like Carroll that's only going to be here 3-4 years, and then you have, even if you have a culture set, a guy's going to come in and set a whole different culture.
No,
Yet they don't keep
no.
No locker room stays the same. None.
Which I agree with you.
So you can't bring in a guy like Carroll for 3 years and then hope a guy like Ben Johnson's there. Ben Johnson's ready to be that guy to be married to Caleb Williams for the next fucking 10 years. There's no other coach right now. Or you know what? Aaron Glenn. He's seen more football.
I don't think
give me the DC at Detroit.
I don't think he can take over this organization and make it right. You need somebody that's been there and done it.
No, because those guys are going to have too much say and the organization won't let that happen either. They won't. The organization won't let a guy like Vrabel come in and have the one that he wants to say. Bullshit.
So why do you think they're going to have...
Kevin Warren literally said, we want to be the focal point. We don't want the coach to be the focal point. He said that himself.
Still, then why do you think it's going to work out for fucking Glenn? That makes no sense.
Your own president of operations said they don't want an established guy like that. Do you listen to that stuff?
Then why would he want to come to Chicago then?
You're not making much sense here. Do you get what I'm saying, though?
No,
what I'm saying is your own president of operations said they're not good. They're not looking for a guy like that, like what you want. Kevin Warren said himself, they don't want a guy that's bigger than the organization. An established coach is that. They don't want that. That's why
he's right. He's right. That's exactly what Kevin Warren said. And really,
right, but AJ, but we're not talking about Bill Belichick here. We're not talking about him.
Mike Vrabel literally got fired from the Titans because he was mad about a draft decision. They're not going to want a Mike Vrabel in here having draft decisions.
All right, fair enough. I just think the Bears need to fucking change this thing up.
With Ben Johnson.
I don't. I disagree with that.
I know you do.
Hey, listen up. Hey, but before we get into our picks for the games tomorrow, Dakota, let's just touch on this real quick because we just talked about this last night, Dad, and I think that we all agree on this one. Is Kevin Warren a fraud?
Yes.
I don't think so.
100%. What?
I think he's. No.
Whoa,
Can
okay.
you let me speak?
Okay, no, you're right. Whoa,
relax. Relax.
I will whip your ass.
But still have some. Come on, there's respect over
okay,
here.
Okay.
He has too much say. He should not be involved in the coaching decision. But what he is brought here to do, he did it well in the Big Ten. He ran the Big Ten well.
Fair enough.
He built Minnesota a damn good stadium that hosts things every year. He's going to figure out the stadium.
So,
I get we hate the reason he's going at it, but he's going at it with politics the way he is.
So I was going to retract my statement when you fucking said, what the fuck, dude? Jesus Christ. I was going to retract it and say,
he has too much say.
Say, okay, but what do you mean by a fraud? But you didn't let me say it because I jumped over you. So.
Okay. Exactly.
So, AJ, what do you mean by fraud?
No, that's what he means. He means
last night when we spoke on the phone, we talked about how originally he was here to do one job, and that is to build the stadium, presumably in Arlington Heights, and that might not even be the case now. We don't know where the stadium's going to be, and we haven't seen any movement on the stadium since he's been here.
Yep. And we hate politics, but there's a reason for that.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Well, yeah, I mean,
that's why they played that game right away to get the tax break that they wanted. And Arlington Heights and they said, "Oh, we're not giving it. We're not giving it. We're not giving it." And months later, the Bears just were quiet, and then all of a sudden it came out. Oh, they got the tax break they want. Yep. I am not worried in the slightest about that. I don't. At this point, build the stadium wherever the fuck you want. They're gonna build one of the nicest stadiums.
Well, here's the thing. I told Dad on the phone last night because I was looking this up as I was talking to him. If the stadium is in Chicago, it'll be publicly owned. The Bears won't own it.
No, because they have to buy the land. No, it won't.
No, because it would go literally right behind Soldiers Field right now. It would still be on the Park District.
But did you watch his interview too? They said wherever they would build it, it would be owned by the Chicago Bears. And that's why they're asking for investors outside of the city, because the city already said even if they come back to Chicago, they're not investing in the stadium.
Well, right. But I mean,
either way, I think they're gonna own a plot of land no matter.
I read
it should be Arlington Heights.
He said it himself that the Chicago Bears are gonna own their stadium. I don't think he's gonna let that happen.
Well, when I was talking to Dad on the phone last night, I was reading it straight from like Chicago's ABC and NBC network. it did come out that it would be publicly owned. It wouldn't be owned by the Bears. Like that came straight from ABC and NBC Chicago.
Yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes because that's not going to happen.
But I mean, that's just it too. Like you gotta this was the last point that I made to Dad on the phone last night was that you do gotta understand there's a lot of politics that have to be played for a new stadium to be built, right? And like
and that's why I have absolutely 100% faith in him. He showed and did all the shit they had to go through in Minnesota with those taxes and getting funds for that stadium. There was way more leaps. Even if the Bears stay in Chicago, they had more issues with building Minnesota's stadium. That's why I have complete confidence. Even fine, if it's going to end up wherever it ends up, I have confidence with him building a stadium. Because Minnesota, the amount of problems they had with that stadium building, and he had still got it done with no issues. And then getting the Big Ten and the way he got the Big Ten through the COVID bullshit. I'm not worried about that. I don't know why at all he is in any kind of coaching hire at all. Like
because
that shouldn't be there. But that's because the McCaskies want that.
Are we still live?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
well, no, dude. Well, we talked about this last night too, Dad. Was the interview process is already so fucked up because at minimum there's 7 people involved in each of these interviews. It's the McCaskies.
Yes.
HR is involved already. Like
Yeah.
it's
Why
like
is that?
yeah, there's no.
100%.
And that's why I don't have faith in the coaching hire, but makes for interesting talk.
I agree. I totally agree.
But yeah, I really do. I really do hope that, the way that Warren's playing the stadium is that it all is just a smokescreen because he said that he is adamant that there will be shovels in the ground by the end of 2025.
Whatever happens at the stadium, I'm good with. I don't care. It's better than Soldier Field, and it's going to be domed, and we're going to be caught up with the times.
I just want.
I'm not worried about that.
I just want that fucking Arlington Heights.
Yeah, you own your whole plot, but
yeah, that's your whole man. Everyone that goes there, they gotta pay you.
Why do you think they still haven't released any kind of true renderings of a downtown one? They did the one that they did just like Arlington Heights.
Right.
They're not.
Yep.
I still think they're doing Arlington Heights, man.
I do too.
Dude.
What? Good point.
It took
I think
3 years
Dakota.
to. Hold on.
Yeah, I think so too.
Bluetooth. It took 3 years for Minnesota to even get or 2.5 years for them to get a shovel in the ground. So
yeah, no, I think Dakota's right. They're playing a long game, which you should because.
But that should be the only thing he's worrying about.
Right. Yeah, not a fucking head coach.
Yeah, he shouldn't even be consulting in those interviews.
100%. Or nor should Why is HR even? That makes no fucking sense. I'm like, dude. When I hire people, my HR is not even included at all, and I'm just a supervisor. What the hell is going on with that?
Yeah, I mean it leaves a lot to be desired for sure. Like I just think that you need it. I don't care who it is. I just want a proven coach that can set a culture. Like that's all I want. I just want.
And that's my point. That's my point with these 3 guys I want. And Ben Johnson, you got to let him go. You have to.
I think he's the only non-head coaching experienced coach though that could set a winning culture. There's no other first-time guys that could set it.
Dakota. I don't think you're wrong.
I'm not saying he will.
No,
but that is who I want.
But I'm not saying you're wrong.
That's
with that.
who I want first, selfishly, because I know no matter what, the Bears are always going to have a decent defense.
Yeah.
We've never had a good offense, and you have to score in this league. So if that's what we're going to do, go for Ben Johnson.
100%.
If not, give me Ron Rivera then. That's fine. That's fine. I don't want Pete Carroll, though. Ron Rivera could at least be with fucking Caleb for the next 5, 8, 7 years.
But
Pete
Ron
Carroll's
Rivera,
going to die in 10 years. He won't be here for Caleb in 10 years. He'll be in the ground.
But listen, no, we want the guy that's going to be for 2-3 years and set that standard, and then you go on.
I do, but then again, no matter what, whatever coach that comes in after him, coaches, they're all selfish in the sense that they all want to have their own culture. So no matter what was set, even if they just went to an NFC Championship the year before, that coach is going to want to come in and bring in a whole different standard, a whole different way of operating, and those guys might fucking hate it, and then they'd suck.
But we just need someone that can actually set a standard, and we have zero standards in Chicago.
No, and
when
it
comes to
worries
the
me that
Bears.
Ryan Poles continuously says we have that. No, we don't.
No, we talked earlier.
We
We
don't
have
have
no
any.
shot.
we have
There's no
zero
shot.
culture.
You're
No
just
shot.
lucky that your quarterback was competent enough to not make
Yeah,
it look
we
that
have
bad.
zero culture when it comes to the Bears. Zero.
Yeah, I can't believe we even beat the Green Bay Packers once.
I know. Thank God. Well, it should have been twice.
Yeah, block field goal away. Son of a bitch. Oh well, we suck. They're playing in the playoffs tomorrow.
Yeah, and by the way,
What
the field goal in Green Bay was longer than the field goal at home, by the way.
Yeah, well, the Bears still suck. And you know what?
Yep.
Maybe next year I'm going to buy a shirt that says the Bears still suck, and I'm going to wear that until we become good again. I don't know, maybe it sucks.
Yeah, it might not be too far off, but I think the Bears need a coach that can actually just turn things around a little bit here and just, you know what? Here's how we do this. And there's no bullshit, well, I don't want to do this. I don't no, fuck that. Here's how we do it. And that's a Pete Carroll. That's a Ron Rivera. That's a Mike Vrabel. That's what they do. Because they don't fuck around and say, well, I don't want to do it. I give a fuck what you want to do.
I want Vrabel because he was still keeping up with the times, and he was fired because of decisions that he didn't like of the draft, and he had just led them to 2 out of 3 AFC title appearances.
Yeah, but honestly, Dakota, do you think that if you hired a Carroll, that he would not have in the times OC?
Well, you just don't know. You know, I mean, look at Belichick. He's setting up his college the exact same way he set up his NFL program 20 years ago. So he can't get away from it. Some guys can't. That's why I'm worried about like Pete.
Right.
Even Ron Rivera, he's been away from coaching now 3 years.
But we just need that guy to get us get us set. And again, when you hire a coach right now, you're not hiring a coach for the fucking next 20 years. You're hiring a guy for the next fucking 3 to 4 years.
Well, you hope not, though.
Unless it's Ben Johnson. I agree with that. I think that if it's anybody other than Ben Johnson, that head coach will not be here more than 4 years.
Why would you be looking at a head coaching hire that way? Because that's bad for your quarterback.
No, because our organization is so fucked up.
I know, but that's still just going backwards.
No, it's really not going backwards. Our organization is so fucked up right now.
I can't believe I'm the only one that's sitting here hoping to hire a guy for the next 10 years for your quarterback, and you guys are wanting a guy that's going to shuffle in 3.
I didn't put a time frame on mine. I didn't even put a time frame on mine. I just said I want someone who's been there, done that. I don't care if they're.
I just want to win. I don't want a guy that's going to be here for 3 years and leave.
I'm with you.
I want a guy that's going to be married to my quarterback, like Bill fucking Belichick, like Joe Burrow and his coach is going to be, like Mahomes and Reed are. I want that.
Well, I do.
And Pete Carroll will be dead before year 5.
Right, but that's not what's going to happen with the Bears, because the Bears are so far back. They are so
I'm
backwards.
not saying I'm expecting Ben Johnson to come here next year and win 12 games. It's going to take 2-3 years to win with him even. But I want a guy that's going to marry with our quarterback for the future. I don't want to have to be thinking about it.
And I'm not saying you're wrong.
I don't want to be thinking at all.
See, this is just the problem that the Bears organization has created. Is you're either looking at getting a guy who could be married to your quarterback for 10 years, or getting a guy that could set a culture and be here 3 to 4 years. That's the problem that the organization's created.
The first one should be the only one, though. You hire a guy in any process that you want to be around for a long time.
To be fair,
no matter what.
To be fair, I think any competent organization goes that way. I think any competent organization 100% would go.
It's time the Bears start. Now, I may be swinging and missing on Ben Johnson, but you know what? I would rather take Ben Johnson at this point, a guy like that, over a guy like Pete Carroll that's been out of coaching for 6 years. In the last 3 years of his tenure, they had a losing record. He was on his way out for a reason. I'm sick of the reuse, reduce, recycle. And I get.
But okay,
hold on. We talked about earlier. No,
so
the NFL's like that. No, I'm saying the NFL in general. Dan Quinn just got another job. Mike McCarthy got another job.
But our last coach was the reuse, recycle.
I'm saying in general. Okay. Are you listening to me speak?
I totally am.
I don't want to. I'm not going to sit here and talk if you're just bypassing half what I'm
talking
about.
I totally am. But what was the last time the Bears did?
That's what I didn't say the Bears. I said the NFL's norm Every coach gets reduced, and recycled. They get multiple opportunities. Why? And those multiple opportunities keep failing. Why does I don't want that norm.
I mean,
But
he does have a point though. Like I understand what he's trying to say. Like when a coach is successful and then his
okay,
successes ran out, then
but okay,
he
okay.
shouldn't
So what?
have.
What about Dan Quinn?
If his was
What
a rare
about Dan
case that
Quinn?
worked, me and AJ were talking about that earlier. A rare case that worked.
So you can't say it's reuse, recycle because look at Dan Quinn.
No, we are that because that fits into that stereotype. He still
Well, yeah,
was.
because he went.
He's one of the few that worked out.
I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, because he still
But-
got reused and recycled. He just went back to Dallas. Like that's
But
the
some
only reason why
teams-
that worked.
But some teams need a serious structure.
His worked. He was also still coaching in the league as a DC after getting fired as a head coach. Pete
Which he was,
Carroll
yep.
has not been in the league for 4 or 5 years 3 years now, 3 seasons for a reason. Not even a consultant with a team, not nothing. There's a reason teams in the last 3 years, how many coaches get fired every year? There's at least 6 head coaches every year, at least 4 or 5 coordinators. There's a reason he has not been on a team at all since leaving Seattle.
Because he don't want to be.
But to say now to just come back and be, I don't like that. It doesn't work out typically, and Dan Quinn is one of few that worked out.
I just want someone to come into the Bears and just set a fucking standard.
At least Vrabel has still been on staffs and still involved. Carroll hasn't. He's been enjoying his beach vacations, which as he should when he's retired. But just stay in retirement. Your course ran out, Pete. Even in the last 3 years when he was essentially the GM of that team too, and it was not working the final 3 seasons.
I'm just saying, I don't care if it's him, if it's.
Yes, I want a culture, but I don't want a culture in an 8-8 team.
I want an experienced coach coming into the Bears to get this shit fucking set right. That's it. And it ain't Ben Johnson. It's not.
Well, you're going to be disappointed when they hire him then.
Well, and I guess that will be.
Because that's who they're going to hire.
Because it's no. First off, the Bears won't do it. Secondly, I want an experienced coach come in and start putting this ship to the fucking left.
To be fair though, I do think Dad's right when he says that the Bears wouldn't hire him, because I think the list of demands that he's gonna make to be like, here's what I want to take this position, I don't think the Bears would agree to that.
The thing that's playing into his favor there is Ryan Poles is now also playing with desperation. So if he sees Ben Johnson as the best fit, he will make sure the Bears throw anything at him.
But let's talk about that for a second, AJ. So do you want a fucking coach coming in that's never been a head coach and giving all these fucking demands saying, I want this, I want that, I want that. Okay, what if you fucking prove to me now, Ben Johnson?
The only demand...
No, hold on. You prove to me one thing, that you can perform really well under a head coach. You've never proved that you are a head coach.
The only thing he asked
the
only thing that was rumored was about him wanting his own GM, and 80% of coaches want to be paired with their own GM. That's not out of the norm.
Which I don't think you're wrong, Dakota. But
he just wants that and a lot of money.
But a lot of money.
We just gave that to Craig Counsell, and we went backwards last year.
No, we actually didn't go backwards. We just stayed exactly the same.
No, I'm not.
But
he
was paid that kind of money to do it instantly. That's my point.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
It didn't happen instantly.
But the thing is, when it comes to football, you got 17 games. That's it. 17 games and you're done. Yeah. And if this guy comes in and he demands this stuff, okay, what have you proven to demand it as the head coach? Zero. Fucking zero.
Ron Rivera was fired twice and is out of the league.
But I'm telling you,
Pete Carroll's
what has Ben
league.
Johnson proved?
But what are those guys that have been out of the league for years now going to do to help your quarterback? It's not going to develop them. It's going to go backwards. And when they do hire that guy and Caleb does go backwards because they're too worried about culture and not just winning football games.
There's no way he could have went anywhere fucking wrong after this year. There's no fucking way. No, there's no way.
Caleb still had a decent rookie year himself.
That's my point. So there's no way Caleb is going to regress.
I don't want a Ron Rivera that's been fired twice anymore. I don't want to go through this cycle. Ben Johnson has been sought after for multiple years now for a reason.
Right. And which
Just
he
like
has.
McVay came out of a coaching tree, just like Shanahan came out of a coaching tree.
I agree with you. I
It's
totally
time
agree
for Dan
with you.
Campbell to start his coaching tree, and it's going to be Ben Johnson of the Chicago Bears.
And I hope that's not the case.
I just, like I said, I don't care who it is. I just want somebody to come in, set a culture, and get the nose of the ship pointed in the right direction, because we've been going in reverse for well over a decade
and
now.
AJ, this is not a fucking 1-2 year process. That's my point. This is a fucking 4 year process.
Exactly.
This is why you bring in an established coach to get the shit set right, and then you move on.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at
No
Detroit.
team
Look at
ever
Detroit.
thinks like that,
Dan
though.
Campbell
No
went.
team-
But we have to.
No,
'cause
I'm
we
saying
suck.
no team ever in NFL history has operated like that. The Bears aren't going to hire a guy to bring him in for 3-4 years. That's just not going to, like, I know that's what you want, but that physically, that's not going to happen.
Okay, we'll see.
That's not
I
going
mean,
to happen.
but look at
If we're firing a guy in 3 years from now, if we're hiring a new coach, Caleb Williams-Wallace will be gone.
Well, yeah, I mean I think that's really obvious. But I mean, look at you're right.
No
Dan
team ever
Campbell
hired
Dan
like
Campbell needs to start his coaching tree now, because look at what when he started his first year, they were 13-3, then they were 8-8, then they were 9-7, and then they were what 10-4, and then 13 and or what was their record this year? 15-2.
Yeah, well, Dan Campbell came out of nowhere though. They got lucky.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But if we're gonna go a young mind, it better be Ben Johnson and Ben Johnson only.
I agree with that. If it's a young mind who's never been a head coach before, I do think that Ben Johnson is your only option.
Even though he's gonna come in wanting a high dollar amount, the Bears are still gonna be able to control a guy like that because he's not been a head coach before. That's what they want. He said it himself in an interview. You don't just say that and not want that. Then they said that's what they want. A guy like that, they'll be able to control. They'll be able to push and steer him a certain way because he hasn't been a coach before.
I mean, that's
what we do.
That's fine, but you could steer and push him, but you still need to allow him to be a coach at the end of the day. Like, I think that's the big problem, is that the Bears brass has their hands in every single cookie jar from them down. They have it with Warren, they have it with Poles, they had it with Eberflus. You need to take ownership out of outside of sending their paychecks. You need to take them out of the fucking equation. Just let your men do their jobs. And the McCaskies don't do that.
Yeah, and that's why they won't hire a guy that has previous experience, because he's going to tell them, no, fuck off. This is how you run a team. That's why they won't hire someone like that, but we'll see. In a few short weeks, we will see a new head coach.
Yeah, either way, good, bad, or different, we're going to find one.
Over under. You'll hear that announcement 1 week after the Super Bowl.
Over under what?
Like, do the Bears make that announcement within a week of the Super Bowl?
No.
Oh no, I think it'll be before. Seriously.
No, it can't be before. They can't hire a guy in the middle, like if they're talking to guys that are in the middle of the season still.
Because it won't be one of those guys that are in it.
Yeah, if they pick Ben Johnson, they can't officially hire him until like 2 days after the Super Bowl. I think that's the rule.
Because it won't be Ben Johnson. I'm telling you, it will not be Ben Johnson.
If it's Pete Carroll, this program goes backwards.
No, it does not. Yeah. Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
He's just like Bill Belichick. His course ran dry. It's done. They're out for a reason. They weren't.
But Dakota, you're talking about going to a team that's actually going to contend for the next 4 years. You're not even close with the Bears. They're not going to contend for the next fucking 6 years. So you got to have
hope
that.
That's not true, because in 6 years from now, Caleb Williams will be paid as a high dollar quarterback.
Okay.
So if you're talking a 6-year plan, then you're at a whole different roster.
Well, then let's just say I'm fucking very hopeful in fucking 5 years. No, you gotta send this whole fucking thing on its fucking ear and send it the right way.
Wrong there. I know.
I think that next year they'd either be 8-8 or 9-7, and then like the following years when they could legitimately make like a playoff push. I think that's how that's gonna play out.
There's no way it takes 5 years for them to be good. If it does, that's a huge problem. That's a problem.
Well, you gotta
had a
also
roster
understand
this year,
too.
Dad, that should have won 11 games.
That's just it too. They were projected to win 11 games, but also your offensive line is just as much of a problem as your coaching failures were. So you're getting the right people on your offensive line could also help a lot with that. Like just upgrading your offensive line easily nets you probably two or three more wins.
All right.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, I'm telling you, I'm not an optimistic. It's a fucking long fucking rebuild. Just
Oh, trust me, I'm not
I'm just
optimistic
telling you,
either.
If that's the way you think, then Caleb Williams is not your franchise quarterback. Because when you draft a quarterback like that, you hope that your window is within that first 4 years of drafting him under a rookie contract.
I agree.
You can't be planning for 5 years from now, Dad. That's asinine. Like that is asinine.
But I'm realistic when it comes to the Bears.
No, but that's not even realistic.
Yeah, here's the thing.
asinine.
Here's the thing. Both of you guys are exactly right because Dakota, you're saying that you need to plan. You need to be able to plan to go to a Super Bowl within the first 4 years. You're right.
If you're planning right now to be talking about 5 years from now, you might as well just fucking send Caleb down the road now.
But Dad's also right because it's the freaking Chicago Bears. Like that's the problem.
That's why I have no faith. But
that's what I'm saying. It's a total rebuild. But
if it's a total rebuild, Caleb Williams should not be on this roster.
Totally agree.
So that's where I think you're completely wrong because a week ago, 2-3 weeks ago, we're both talking that you have the roster. So if you have the roster already,
you have the quarterback.
No, you have a roster that could have went into the playoffs this fucking football season, 100% with your skilled players.
Stop. Oh yeah, with your skilled players, yeah. I mean, you still had to fix your glaring offensive line problems, and also too, injuries didn't help because you physically had like no depth. You had zero depth. Like the minute that somebody
better be plus 500 next year.
When the Bears started having injuries, dude.
Are you on crack?
When the Bears started having injury problems.
I guess so.
When the Bears started having injury problems, they had
to be an 8-win team next year.
I guess so, man. I guess I'm on crack.
Because
we won 5 this year, and 6 of those were lost because of our coach. So
totally agree with that. Totally agree.
Like God, I just lost what I was just gonna say too. Wow.
Nope.
Oh yeah. The offense and defensive line. The other problem that you have to account for is that we had no depth, so that if somebody got injured, we could have somebody plug into that position and the position still be strong. You had no depth on your offensive line or defensive line for as bad as it already was.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens, right? I don't know.